Welcome to the Shit Dads podcast. This one's for all the dads who need to hear that they're actually doing all right by listening to the stuff other dads do that mums hate. We all do dumb stuff and things we regret. This pod isn't about sunshine and lollipops and looking like the perfect dad on social media. You know it's rubbish. We know it's rubbish. Let's focus on all the stupid things we do as dads so then you guys can learn from our stuff ups. No judgment here, blokes. Right, let's get into it. How's everyone feeling about it?
Yeah, bit weird.
Yeah, I know. It's ordinary, isn't it? And it's even weirder because we're talking in like sexy voices because there's a kid sleeping upstairs and you don't want to like wake him up. All right, everyone keen to get in?
Yeah.
Righto. This podcast is basically two dads known each other a very long time, stumbling our way through parenthood. It's really not a what to expect when you're expecting podcast because we're not those kind of people telling people how to do shit. And it's not a perfect guide on fatherhood. Basically, we got no idea and we're just stumbling along, and it was literally our excuse to catch up once a week and have a beer together. So that's why we're doing this podcast. Hopefully we can give some decent information on our experiences in the past and hopefully teach a guy or two how to deal with fatherhood through our fuck-ups. So yeah, there's going to be some naughty words, I imagine. But yeah, whoever you are, you can see what worked and what not to do while keeping your wife happy and your babies alive. So first of all, I'm Nick Bentley. I'm married to a beautiful lady. We've been married 5 years. I've got 3 kids under 5.
That was such a conviction.
It's like counting on my fingers. And I didn't read one parenting book or go to any classes. My missus taught me everything and I learned as I went. Made a load of mistakes along the way and I'm still learning. We'll move on to...
Yeah, and I'm Cam, so I'm a father of 2, got a 3-year-old girl and 1-year-old boy. And you'd think a few years of experience as dad would, teach you a lot, but every day you've got something new to learn. It's a bit of a wild ride. And for some crazy reason, my wife and I are still planning on having a third at some point. So, and we just come out of the thick of it. So once your first kid reaches age 1, they become more like little people, and you can enjoy it even more. So yeah, keen to share some thoughts and advice, but also just some funny stories.
And for everyone out there, we don't think we're literal shit dads, but hopefully if anyone's actually listening, you can learn what's good and what's not from our fuck-ups. The first episode of the Shit Dad podcast will be talking about pregnancy. And to help jog our memories, our first guest is an expectant dad, our mate of 20 years and typical Aussie battler who's watched our kids grow up already and he's learned a thing or two from our shit dadness. Christian, tell us about yourself, mate.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call up for the first episode.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. If it doesn't go off after one episode and you don't get a second, I'm not going to take any credit for that or any responsibility.
Your name's already in the credits, mate. You're fucked.
So thanks for having me. Hoping to have a chat about what's been happening pregnancy-wise.
What to expect when you're expecting.
One on the way for me and Cian. So yeah, it's going to be a good podcast, I think, and share some experiences with some dads out there and some expectant dads.
Nice. Tell us about yourself.
So yes, my partner and I, Cian, have been together 4 years now. One on the way. She is 32 weeks, so I think to the day we've got 2 months exactly to go, 8 weeks till the birth of our first child. I'm an airport manager for a fueling company out at the airport, so
You always think like shit. No?
only sometimes.
Okay.
Short pockets, as your old man calls me. So
Long arm, short pockets.
don't mind finding a bargain and don't like reaching into my pocket when I can save some money.
Just because something's on special doesn't mean you people have to buy it, all right?
It does. It's on special for a reason.
It's a yellow tea, it's old and shit.
So yeah, that's a little bit about myself and Cian. And
Nice, and you told us it's a little boy, is that
Little boy, yep. So we couldn't...
So knowing you as a kid, it's probably going to be a big boy, to be fair.
It is, yes. Yes, we've been told that it's quite a big kid.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Not for you, if you're the woman.
Yeah. Not good for Dan, but it's going to change our lives.
Nice. I saw you doing some little warm-up weights over there with Cam's 3 kilo dumbbells in the corner. You might have to pick that up and at least triple it, I reckon, so you can carry your big boy around.
It will, yeah. Just getting the arms ready for carrying around a bit of dead weight for the first 6 months.
Nah, nice. All right. Righto. Well, let's get into it. This is going to be a 10-part series initially to talk a bit of shit. But yeah, let's roll into it with the first point. And it is, do you remember what you used to talk to your wife about before having kids? So I reckon the perfect person to start here would be Christian because he's still in that time.
You're in it.
What do you even talk to your missus about anymore?
Well, it's funny that you asked that question. We don't just consume our lives at the moment with all baby talk, which I think we've done a good job of that. It hasn't really taken up a lot of our time. Obviously, we are talking about it, but we try to still stay focused on other things that are happening around us so that we're not completely consumed by it. So, yeah, I don't think that we've just been talking about babies. I know it's kind of hard not to get caught up in the hype.
You're not a politician, mate. You stop dancing around the question.
No.
What are you actually talking about? I want to know.
We talk a lot about work. We vent a lot about
Yeah, I
work.
can imagine work. Yeah.
Yep, so we vent a lot about work. We talk about TV times. That's an important thing in our house because I'm allowed one slot per weekend to watch the Brisbane Lions game.
Christ.
You know, you guys know me, I love my AFL and I love my Lions. So
Tragic.
working our life schedule around when the Brisbane Lions are playing and can we go out for dinner that night? No, we can't because the Lions are on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
nice.
Dale.
What about you, Cam? Do you remember anything you used to talk to Jess about before pregnancy?
I assume it was mostly like travel plans in a world where we could actually travel. Bit of work talk and also kind of what social occasion we were kind of cramming in that weekend. But now it's mostly instructions of the timeline of the day that I need to follow and stick to.
That's not on your fridge, or
No, it changes every day.
Changes every day. Jesus. Yeah, I can kind of relate to that because I fucking don't remember a thing. I asked Mel earlier today, I was like, do you remember what we even used to talk about before kids? And she's like, I don't know. I think she was just trying to get rid of me, but I was just like, no, try and think about it. And she goes, I don't know, like...
Just stuff.
Just stuff, yeah, exactly. You don't have like a topic of conversation. It's just shit, like...
But also probably just more frequently talking to each other.
Exactly,
You can go for like days now with like, you don't actually have a proper conversation.
Yeah, you're talking about like what the kids did that day or whatever. We used to watch a shitload of telly, and when like Netties first came out, and bought the box set of Friends and smashed that a few times. And
How long do you think it would take you now to get through a series? 6 months?
Yeah, 100%.
Actually like half an hour increments every
Yeah,
night.
it has to be a TV show that goes for no longer than half an hour, so you can at least get a whole episode in before falling asleep. It's
Great.
excellent.
I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. If you got a TV show that you want to binge, you said you got 2 months to go.
Yeah, 2 months. Get it in now.
Fuck
Is that
yeah,
your
get
advice?
that in. Yeah, get as many in as you
Okay.
can.
Alright.
Don't sleep, pretty much. Just like
Just Netflix.
binge watch
and-
Netflix. Like not any particular show,
Anything.
just Netflix. Yeah,
And have the
definitely.
TV up really loud as well.
Yeah,
it's a
fuck
luxury.
yes.
Just for luxury.
Yeah, all of a sudden, now all I do is watch things with subtitles.
Stop around the house.
Yeah.
Just
Spot on.
everything you can.
Even when they're awake.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
yeah.
that's too loud. What? I'm like 12. I can't hear myself think.
You're pretty good at lip reading. But the other thing I'd say is, to go out for, you guys like to have your nice dinners and like go to nice restaurants and things. Do that as much as
We
you
have
can.
been doing that a little bit lately. Going out for it seems like every weekend we're out at a new restaurant just while we can.
How much would you spend on a dinner, do you reckon? Or like a night out? Like honesty, proper honesty.
At the moment, Sien's not drinking, so that saves us a little bit. Saves us a lot. She's a heavy drinker. No. She back in the day, she'd have a cocktail or two, and let me tell you, those cocktails aren't cheap compared to
nice.
my beers. So, at the moment, we're probably looking at a nice place we go to, maybe 150 to 200 for a meal.
That's not too
Back in the
bad.
day, it would have been 250, 280 with
Is
some
that-
cocktails thrown in there.
Is that why you're still drinking those Han Super Crisps as well? Like those
There's nothing wrong with the Han Super Crisp.
$4 stub?
They're gluten free. They're gluten free and they're a lager, so it suits my
You keto.
lifestyle. Don't knock the Han Super Crisp.
So 150 to 200 you'd spend on a night out.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, nice, fair enough.
Well, Sian has changed me. It's
She
has
got
to be said.
Expensive taste.
Expensive taste
Yeah,
and
nice.
my cheap taste. We meet in the middle. We compromise. We meet in the middle.
So she'd be out smashing champagne and like lobster and shit.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm eating the $10 lunch palmy special.
Yes, how good is the palmy
The
though?
lunch rump.
Fuck yeah, I'd take a rump and a pot for $15 over that any day.
Yeah.
We're all about the local brewery with the food truck. That's,
Yeah.
that's the go for us.
Is that what you got, you and Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you reckon you would have spent before kids compared to now?
Oh, yeah, probably about the same, I guess.
150 to 2?
Yeah. Like, we didn't used to, like, hold back. You used to try and enjoy those nice evenings out together. But now it's got to be very well planned. I'd argue we'd probably spend more if we did it now because it was such a rarity.
Yeah.
So you'd go all out.
You'd take
espresso
advantage of that one
martinis
night.
and go through courses and, yeah.
Wait, so compare that, like you and Jess going out on a date night compared to taking the kids out at 4:30 p.m. for dinner. Well, how much do you reckon you'd spend on you, Jess, and the kids?
It adds up because you're getting their meals, and Harper always wants a lemonade if you're getting a drink.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same, I'd say. I'd cut back on the amount I'm drinking, but they're going to still order a fair bit.
Shit you not, today we took the kids to one of those indoor play centres and it was like their entry fee, parents got in free, 3 little meal boxes for lunch for the kids, and me and Mel shared a bowl of wedges and a muffin and a banana bread from morning tea, so we're there for a few hours. And so that was like $100.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
That's where they get you.
That is where they get you. And let me tell you, the parents getting in free, that's how they get you in there. Let me tell you about that. That is how they get you in there. Don't even get me started on how companies reel you in.
You are more dad than you even know. That's like the best phrase. Righto, nice. Moving on from real life before pregnancy and kids, we'll start with Christian again. How did you deal with a working wife?
Well, we've been lucky in some regards with COVID. Sian has not been into the office since March 2020, so now we're June 2021.
Damn.
So what's that, 15 months of working from home, so it's been very lucky.
One might say that's even a downside. Your wife and yourself are home all day while she's pregnant. But you, Cam, how'd you deal with a working wife?
I asked Jess about this because once again, it's kind of, I've got a bad memory and also you kind of shove it out of your brain. But she was saying apparently, like I gave her lots of foot massages and painted her toes as well because she couldn't physically reach it. So I was like, that's pretty good. I was, being a good husband.
Can't remember it. They love the foot massages. That's all Sian wants from me at the moment, is just a good foot massage at the end of the day.
Oh, words of wisdom right there.
That is how
little things you can do.
If anyone's listening, now is the time you should be taking
Take
notes.
that as a note.
Yeah.
Foot massage at the end of the day will keep them extremely happy.
Nice. Well, we're further down the track. We're looking at some new dad advice, but that is an absolute rocket of a gem right there.
I would also
apart
say,
from painting nails, Camo, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's encouraging them to keep moving and fit. So my wife was doing like pregnancy yoga, and even had a PT that obviously could tailor things around the fact that she was pregnant but still wanted to exercise. And I think that's really important because especially going into it, you want to be like pretty fit because it's childbirth's pretty intense. But then it just helps you bounce back quicker afterwards as well. So that was always something that I tried to encourage. But that last month before she finishes work was pretty tough. They just get super tired, and it doesn't help when you remind them how big they are. So don't say that.
Yeah, no, don't ever say that. Yeah, and if they say anything like, "I feel like a whale," just walk away.
Just say yourself.
Don't bite.
Don't even look at her. Don't say a word. Just walk away.
They're throwing it out there. Just as a little, let's see what they're.
My go-to is always like, I've got to go to the toilet. And it's like, you just try and be real subtle.
My wife had this thing which was actually medically called lightning crutch, which was very hard not to laugh at. Has Sian had it?
No, lightning crutch.
Yeah, so
I want lightning crutch by the sounds of it. It sounds awesome.
sounds like an STI or something. No, she was having issues where she would be kind of walking down the street or even just sitting down, and all of a sudden, super surge of pain, like in her vagina, and then it would go away. But to the point where she'd buckle over and she couldn't stand up. And so she went to the doctor and said, "Is this normal?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's just lightning crutch. It's common for pregnant."
Oh my God.
So that was really hard, obviously, for her to have it, but for me not to laugh every time. I was like, lightning crutch.
How did I work with a working wife? I got my shit dadness like from day one before she even had the kid, because before we had our first boy, Mel worked up in Gladstone as a teacher, as you know. So I was down in Brisbane. I did the good husband thing and went to all the scans and all the stuff like that, but probably should have visited her a bit more than I did. But yeah, we did a lot of chatting over the phone about how work was going, and being a teacher, there's lots of stresses and stuff. So I was just, my main job was just talking to her and letting her vent and her frustrations, which sometimes came out at me, which I was just like, yeah, all right, I'm not going to bite, because that's just...
Cop it on the chin.
Yeah, take it on the chin like a champion. But yeah, that's one bit of a dad advice I could give straight away. Just, if they're venting on the phone, just let them vent. Don't even talk, just let them talk at you.
That's a unique situation though, because like you said, most kind of partners are together for the 9 months, in the build-up. So that would have been an extra challenge on top of everything else.
She was coming towards the end of the time up in Gladstone, because we were getting married in the April. So, but it was still very stressful, and for her mostly. But I felt like a bit of a douche most of the time, because I couldn't be there for her all the time, and because I work down here, and you do what you can. And for me personally, it was a very relaxing experience.
You're like, would do again.
I reckon we should go do this all over again. It's easy. So the second time round, it was a fucking nightmare, because she was home all the time. It was the second time round. It was a bit more like the normal pregnancy, and just dealt with everything as it came. Like, it comes home from work all stressed and heightened and stuff, and you kind of just sit there and be that calming figure to let them vent to, and you just talk about their day and all that sort of stuff. And like we said before, if they say anything about their body, you just pretend you need a shit. Just run away.
Get out of there.
Even though they look great, and you know they look great, and anything you say is the wrong thing. So yeah, that's working with a pregnant wife. But moving on to what we're talking about before. Did you ever, so off air we were talking about parenting classes and a bit of the carry on that comes with first time pregnancy, that you don't always do the second time round. What have you done to prepare, Christian?
We've been reading a lot of books. One that I really like so far is How to Save Your Sleep. So, obviously getting your baby into a routine, particularly when it comes to sleeping, is probably the key.
Yeah.
And we've got some friends that swear by the book. So I went out and bought that and got it on audio so I can listen to that.
Nice.
So,
do you listen to it as you're going to sleep?
Yes, it puts me to sleep. It does, actually.
You're right though, because you can get, especially your wife, they get caught up in like other people's stories.
Yeah.
Like my wife followed this Instagram account and listened to this podcast called Australian Birth Stories. I looked at one post they had and it was intense, and it was, people telling horrid stories of births that went wrong, and you just like, you don't want to add to that stress.
Correct.
Yeah. There's no point thinking
and
that's what could go wrong.
I think that's the key message out of hypnobirthing, is it doesn't have to be a stressful experience.
In my experience with all the parenting books and blogs, never one. That's not a brag. That is literally my first shit dad moment. I didn't do anything like preparation. I listened to everything the wife said, because she was all into the blogs, like the mum blogs and the mum Facebook pages, and she read a shitload of stuff online. And I followed one dad Facebook page, and it wasn't really much advice. She taught me everything I knew, and I'm still kind of learning as we go. So
yeah, I found there's not a lot of like decent dad stuff. There's heaps of like mum stuff, but obviously they're the ones having physically. But yeah, it's was kind of lacking. Yeah. Especially in the podcast space. That's why this is interesting.
The biggest thing I want to know, how far in advance did you set up your nursery? Because personally, we went in for one of the last scans, 5 weeks out, and he said, all right, you guys are going to hospital. And we're like, fucking what, mate? And he's like, all right, yeah, your kid's ready to go. We're going to get him out straight away because blah, blah, blah. No details required. And he was 5 weeks early. So we were thinking we were like super organised with the nursery and that. We're like, yes, we are the ultimate parents. How good is this? And then we're just like just in the nick of time in the end. So pretty
great,
shit.
It was a similar thing when Harper didn't come obviously that early, but earlier than we expected, and had to get you to come over and install the car seat while we were in hospital so we could actually bring her home. It does help to be organised. And like we were saying before, and like being calm and not stressing about all the things that are out of your control. It's good to kind of get some of that stuff away a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'm very organised, so I think our nursery is pretty much set up apart from a few little things, but we're 100% done, and we have been for the last 4-6 weeks. I think we're a little bit too early. Could have waited a little bit longer to set up, but no, I'm glad it's all done, and it kind of is a good thing because now we don't feel like we have to rush and things are done and the cost of shit you have to buy for a baby.
I reckon we get him started on flat pack. You been to IKEA yet?
Yeah, no, and see, this is where my cheapness and Sienne's high taste has met in the middle, because if you buy furniture from quality places, it's solid timber and it comes already pre-assembled. You just take it out of the box and it's pre-assembled. But you pay that cost. But as I've learned that you pay that cost, you don't have to put it together.
We went Super Amart because the instructions are in English. Nothing to do with price, because IKEA's still got some good
Swedish
stuff, but I don't want to fucking sit there deciphering the Swedish language to put it in bed together.
Oh, we made the mistake of going into Baby Bunting early, and then that was where...
that place is a conglomerate, let me tell you.
It's pretty intimidating when you walk in, and then she wanted everything from there.
I reckon anyone that has got some money to invested in baby products, baby safety products or baby products in general.
It's a gravy train.
It is just, there's just money walking in that door. They don't need any customer service in those Baby Bunting stores. Not to say that they don't. I don't want to give a bad name to the Baby Bunting stores.
Hey, we need to get some sponsors here soon.
Well, that's why I don't want to upset anyone on the first
Baby
podcast.
Bunting is fucking
But
fantastic.
there's just money walking in that door.
That's why we were talking before about getting stuff from friends or family who've had kids before as well, and leaning into that as much as you can. If you can save on a few things here and there, it makes a huge difference.
But on a scale of 1 to stepping in dog shit, how crap is flat pack furniture?
It's up there.
I'm going to go, it's like stepping in dog shit. And then not realising until
It's like
you
a
walk on the
face.
carpet.
It's like a face plant into the dog shit.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
Tripped
don't
over
need any more Allen keys.
No, I reckon I've got more Allen keys than actual tools. Whoever invented it needs a fucking slap. How do you go, Cam? How much did you...
The pram was like one of the biggest, I think.
And again, like to your point, and we were lucky we got one that was practically brand new for next to no money that we had to pay for it.
That's the perfect segue into the next topic, though. How much of your hard earned do you reckon in total? Do you reckon you put down?
Cam,
calm down.
I try not to think about it because it would make me depressed. But like you spend even now food, like the amount of absolute. Every day we have a new plastic thing I'm tripping on and new toys and. It'd make me too depressed to add it all up in my head. It's a lot, and you know that going into it. But then when you're in it as well, you're like, "Fuck, it never ends."
That like we were really lucky. Both our parents contributed a phenomenal amount of stuff, but not like material stuff. It was just like help. Like your help is fucking priceless. So they came over when we first got our house, and like they were constantly there, like cleaning walls and did a deep clean of the oven, like things like that. Because when you got your own shit to worry about, like your newborn kid, the last thing you want to do is clean or cook or anything.
I find that's the best present to give someone. The best present is like we'll send some a week of U-Foods or cook a home cooked meal that'll last them a couple of nights. Because you're right. Last thing you feel like doing is cooking and house stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's our plan for the first 3 to 4 weeks is that we'll do some ready-made meals because in my house I don't do any of the cooking. Sian does everything.
Freeze a shitload of food.
Otherwise it'll be toasties every night. That'll run.
So on top of that though, we've all spent a lot of money on getting shit ready, setting up our nurseries early, all that sort of stuff, making sure the house is ready. How much living do you reckon you guys squeezed in before the baby came? Like living, like doing your normal day-to-day shit that you can't do now that you've got a kid.
We try to do a fair bit. Lots of trips away. That's what we like. Long weekend. Actually, like properly celebrating birthdays and getting out of the house. It's just getting out, but also like having a DD for like quite a few months is also pretty good. Try to make the most of like being able to go to the pub.
Get a few beers
I
in.
definitely haven't taken advantage of that enough.
Rookie
And
error, innit?
it's a rookie error on my half,
Yeah.
on my behalf.
Especially because you're talking about
So yeah, I guess you guys were lucky when you had your kids because COVID wasn't a thing.
yeah.
And you could do those things. Unfortunately for us, it hasn't really allowed any travel, so we haven't really got out, and it ruined our big last hurrah before we were supposed to start trying for
Your baby moon.
the baby.
Yeah.
We had our 5-week trip booked for Europe, and even up and even in May, we were like, "Nah, this will blow over.
Oh, really?
We'll be there.
Yeah.
We're going. Our tickets are booked in August."
Were you camo?
Yeah, from memory, it was mostly just being as social as possible at night.
At night, yeah.
Staying out past 5 p.m.
Eating dinner later than 5 p.m.
Yeah.
We just, as you know, we just got married. Our last hurrah was basically the honeymoon. We spent a week in Daydream Island up the coast. Yeah, that was it. Came back and fucking reality hit us like a ton of bricks. So leading away from that, did you have a pre-midlife crisis? Like a quarter life crisis?
Yeah.
Knowing that you can't do that sort of shit anymore as readily or regularly as you'd like, do you think you had any sort of crisis in any way?
Yeah, a little bit. Because you live your whole life, spend 30 years doing exactly what you want when you want to then be kind of housebound and told you can't do certain things. Certainly a bit of a change. And yeah, it's like a real mindset shift, from having to just think about yourself or you and your partner to then what's best for your family.
Yeah, I didn't have a pre-midlife crisis, I think the closest thing I came to a quarter life crisis was just burning up cabbage that I probably should have been saving.
Just buying useless shit.
Yeah, pretty
We've
much.
all been there.
Yeah.
I need this drone.
Yeah.
I need this iPad.
Hey, there's 4 types of whiskey that I really want to try. I'm going to buy every single one of them. Would you have anything you could say to new dads that you're currently experiencing?
Just enjoy it and be present. This is what I've learnt so far.
Yeah, presence is massive.
Go to all the checkups and go to all those little appointments that even sounds like you don't have to leave work to come to this. And I'm like, no, I want to be there. And because I've found that I take a lot more out of it than probably what she does, and maybe that's because maybe I'm trying to actively listen and then I go and research and things like that. But yeah, for me, it's just being there and trying to learn as much as possible and support your wife or your partner and enjoy it for what it is. For us, it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you're going to experience this once. So enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Let's move away from the perfect husband, perfect father thing, because we all want to be that guy.
Oh, we're not.
I'm going to give you some. I know you're a fucking good dude anyway, but I'm going to give some real hard advice that I would give any bloke that's about to have a baby.
Lay it on us.
Lay it on you. Kip whenever you can.
Yeah.
I haven't had a solid 8 hours
See,
in
I'm not a big sleeper though.
fucking 3 years.
I'm not a big sleeper, so that to me, I get up every day at 4 o'clock anyway, regardless if it's the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted, man.
Yeah, that's it. And the biggest
Yeah.
problem for me is I go to bed normally at 8:30.
Oh my god, you are basically retired.
I know.
Fucking
I
embarrassing.
like going to bed early and I like getting up early.
You are embarrassing.
I get more effective things done during the day. But yes, that's probably going to
Do you wear a
change.
dressing gown?
Only in winter.
Fuck me. You are old. Yeah, so I would recommend you get a solid 8 hours as much as you can. Make the most of your free time and get a few nana naps in just because you can. Like on weekends, just don't do you. Just don't do what you normally do and be out and being busy all the time. Just go and have a nana nap for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Because you're not
advice.
getting any more ever. What about you, Camo?
I'd say got a sleeping consultant to come to the house, and it was invaluable because it's shown us how to value sleep and the right kind of setup for the kids, and kind of make sure that we're on the same page as well when it comes to that stuff. So that's probably something I'd say. Lean into experts who know what they're talking about. And don't be afraid to pay for that because, like I said, it's worth its weight in gold.
It's invaluable.
Yeah.
Cam, straight away, what's your biggest need as a new dad? One thing, just give us one nugget.
I'd say the ergo. That's probably the best dad.
Mobility.
Best dad thing, because there's nothing like that feeling you get when you throw your baby on your chest. You're walking around. You've got a bit of swagger. Walk the dog. It's awesome, and yeah, it's probably the only time that the baby's going to really sleep on you. And it gives you obviously, hands free to do other things. You can do some gardening.
It's only taken us 51 minutes of recording to get the most "How dad are you" moment. That was the biggest "How dad are you" moment I've ever heard.
Oh, I love it.
Love
it's
it.
great.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I reckon the absolute do need is a cot. Sounds stupid, but I reckon you can get by if your nursery has a cot, 1 packet of baby nappies, and obviously your warm and cool clothes. Everything else is like material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it.
Baby wipes, obviously.
Yeah.
Fuck me, have more baby wipes than anything in your house. Like that has to be the biggest stockpile, baby wipes, because you use it for everything. And one other thing, which leads us into the next part, is what's one thing you don't need? And I'm going to say straight away, don't get people to buy you nappies.
Yes.
It's the biggest load of shit. Because you buy 1 packet of baby nappies or newborn nappies, and before you even get to the end of that fucking packet, they don't even fit them anymore.
It's changed, yeah.
So if you're going to get people to buy you nappies, get them to buy you like size 5s, because they're going to be in them for a yonker.
See, we've gone the other way. We've gone the cloth nappies that...
Oh, yeah.
So, trying to help the environment, mate.
Fuck
Trying
off.
to help the environment.
You have fun washing shit out of cloth, mate.
Do you know as well? Do you ever have a breathing sensor in the cot?
No.
Fuck me.
I heard about that. That felt like overkill.
Oh,
We just
mate.
bought one. So they're not
Did
good.
ya? Oh,
Yeah.
mate, they are the biggest load of shit because like they're good for peace of mind when you first have a kid.
Yeah.
But the amount of heart attacks I basically had when
Oh,
the sensor goes off in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, because those fuckers don't move, mate. They lie there, and at times during the night they breathe a lot slower than normal, and their heart rate's like so low, and then all of a sudden this sensor goes off in the middle of the night. You jump so high, your head hits the fan, and your heart's beating for the next 4 hours, and you can't get back to sleep. It's like, no,
The
fuck
adrenaline.
off. Yeah.
Well, I'm already stressing because it comes with a warning saying that before you take the baby out to do a feed during the night, you need to turn it off.
Yeah, that's an old
And
one.
I just
yeah.
know that I'll pick up the little fella for a feed when it's my shift,
And then it goes off.
and it'll be going off, and it'll just be.
And you'll all be awake forever. Yeah. What about you, Camo? What's one thing you don't need?
You don't really need a lot of stuff because the first 6 months they're in your room most of the time. They can't physically hold any toys or anything. Pretty much you don't need your friends and family to buy you heaps of toys and heaps of different things. Like actually, we'll talk about plastic, so bad for the environment. Everything in my house is plastic now. Go easy on those unnecessary things, I think.
I want to add back to advice for noobs. Like, if I could go back and do it all again, which fuck off, I don't want to.
3's enough.
3's plenty. Yeah, but not just that. Like, I just don't want to go through it again. I've done my time. It would be literally, don't buy us anything. Buy us like we said before, cook us dinners. Help us come over and clean the house once a week before us. Like, it sounds like such a big ask. Like, you sound like the biggest princess asking for that sort of stuff. But man, I don't reckon I'll clean the house once in the first 3 months. Like, you do little bits and bobs here and there so the house didn't stink. But like, people buying your stuff, you're like, nah, come and cook me dinner, mate.
Get out of the house.
Cook the wife dinner. Yeah, definitely. So that kind of leads us into like from the do's and don't needs. I reckon that's the perfect segue into hacks. Have you read up, Christian, in any of your like hypnotherapy or dad books or whatever? Has anyone given you any advice on good dad hacks?
Not yet.
Because I don't have one.
No.
I got one.
Do you have
You've
one?
got one.
God,
Okay,
that's so
let's
hard
get-
to come by. Come on, Ham. Hit us.
If you don't already, get a dog.
Okay.
Because the amount of food that gets thrown on the floor whenever your kid's eating, and he just eats it all up. He's a bit fat now. He's getting old, but he loves it, and it just means you don't have to clean it up.
Yeah,
It's great.
okay.
He's been in a
That's
good
one.
paddock.
But you couldn't get a puppy and have a baby
Oh,
at the
hell
same
no,
time.
no.
Where's the line though? You don't let the dog like lick all the food off your kid's face, so you don't have to clean the face up, do you?
No, not quite there. That's I'll use wipes for that.
Okay. See, perfect. Stockpile your wipes. That's it.
You haven't got one.
No, like I've got dad advice, but I don't have hacks.
Not a hack.
Like, you know those sort of hacks where you can use I see a hack as like the MacGyver things.
A cheat or a simple way of
like a little cheat, like using a bread clip to fix a plugger. You know, like that sort of shit. That's a hack.
Well, you've seen those ones on Facebook where it's like a toy that's basically patting the kid to sleep.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to
that's
try that.
Awesome.
Or I've also seen is you can basically, instead of you patting them, fill a glove with water, tie it up, and then just put it on top of them so they think there's a hand on.
Oh, that's sick.
Okay.
I haven't tried
awesome.
that one. I reckon it might work.
That wouldn't work
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure. But
Until
then
the-
you got the stuff
Until the glove bursts and there's water everywhere.
yeah. Wake the kid up.
Yeah, and then your breathing sensor goes off. Because
It's short-circuited.
Starts short-circuiting. It's circuiting, yeah.
All right, well,
Adding on to the the hacks, we'll push on to dad advice. Camo, give us a golden nugget.
Well, I was thinking about this more so for when you're picking a name, because obviously that's something that you're thinking about in the same way you're setting up your nursery. But we found this app, and it was basically like Tinder, where you could go through a bunch of names, and if you matched with your partner and you both liked a name, it would go into your saved. And that was a really good way to kind of get on the same page without an argument. You could kind of play in your own free time, and then you've got kind of your top 3 or 4 names for boys and girls. So that was kind of but yeah, I think that's a pretty bit of tech that kind of helped. And like I said,
nice.
you can get into a few different disagreements with that thing because it's a big decision.
It is. It's a massive decision.
Yeah.
Picking a name was impossible. My wife's a teacher, and she's got or has got naughty kids.
Yeah.
So those names, and of course, like my 3 or 4 favourite names were naughty kids that she's had in the last 5-10 years. And you're like, oh, fine, Christ. So it took us I felt like forever to find the name that we liked.
Was that the same problem for the next two as well?
Yeah, between the time of having that baby and then having the next baby, she'd had another set of naughty kids.
Come through.
yeah, another generation of noughts.
I'd say something else that I think dads would be better at than mums would be also thinking about the schoolyard and any abbreviations of names and making sure that they can't get teased. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go. Do you
I've
have an
already
example
started
of that?
thinking about that.
I reckon my biggest piece of dad advice, it was leading on from what I said before about people coming and help and giving you stuff and the support, is accept the free shit. Like with open arms and an empty trailer. Just fucking...
That sounds like a normal Saturday for me. Just accepting free shit.
I'm not talking about
Kid or
going
no
down the
kid.
trash and treasure, mate. Just like... not talking about the trash and treasure, but anything that you get offered, if it fits in your life, just take it.
Agree.
Yeah. Another thing is your missus is probably reading 40 different blogs or adopting a few different pregnancy hacks daily or whatever. Just go along with it. Like, you might think they're stupid and like pointless, but in her eyes, they are like 100%. They are working. So I'm not touching that. Same thing again. If it's like the body thing. If she says something that I don't agree with, oh jeez, I gotta go to the toilet. Yeah.
So yeah.
Either get out of there or agree.
And probably the biggest one, I reckon, is if you're coming home from anywhere at night, this is aimed at you, Christian, 1,000,000%. Message her and ask if she wants a Macca's sundae.
While she's pregnant.
Yep,
Okay.
100%. So that's pretty much the questions that we had for pregnancy. So hopefully you gained something from our experiences or any little dad nuggets for the future. Now, what I think is going to be my favourite segment of the Shit Dad podcast is the Shit Dad moment of the week.
Mine was pretty gross. So toilet trained our daughter. She still has moments though where she forgets or has accidents as kids do. And for some reason or other, I can't remember why, she was naked running around the house. Decided to pop a squat on the floorboards and do a shit.
No.
Couldn't really stop her in time, but I picked her up and ran into the toilet.
I thought you were going to say you rubbed a nose in it.
No, but as I came out after cleaning her up, the shit was gone.
Oh, the
And
dog.
here I go looking at the dog, and he's licking his lips.
Oh
way.
no. Oh, Denzel. You've trained him too well to eat the food, anything that falls on the ground.
There's still nutrients in this.
Part of me was like, oh, I don't have to clean it, but all of a sudden I'm like, no, that's fucked.
That's like, that is
not good.
fucked up. That's a shit dad moment. That's my favourite one. My shit dad moment for this week was so we've got this thing where the kids don't really sleep in their own bed at the moment. They run in at all times of the night, and that pisses me to tears. I hate it. Like, you love cuddles with your kids, but also it's just talking about the not getting your 8 hours and it pisses you off and you're tired. So we came up with this thing. We're just like, all right, if you sleep in your bed every single night this week, every Saturday you'll get an ice cream from the new ice cream shop up the road. Ollie slept in his own bed all 7 nights, and he's like adamant, it's ice cream time. I'm getting an ice cream. Xavier, not so much. He kind of, and we're just like, yeah, whatever. But on our run around this morning, so we went to the kids, the indoor play centre and that, and then went to the Parc de Savo, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like thinking it to myself, but I didn't want to say it, that we hadn't got ice cream yet. Ollie pops up from the back seat. He's like, hey, Dad, I slept in my own bed all week. Are we getting an ice cream now? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I was like, mate, I'm so sorry. I called the ice cream shop and they're all sold out. So the ice cream shop was all sold out of ice cream.
Pass the blame.
Yeah. So that's my shit dad moment. All right, and let's go for a dad phrase of the week.
Oh.
Have you got a phrase that you like? Christian's got one already. I love it. But let's start with Christian.
Mine's just what I say in just general life. That's how they get you. there is always someone out there trying to scam you out of your hard-earned cash, and that's how they get you.
Oh, that's how they get
Just
you.
in any way, shape, or form.
It's going to be on your gravestone. That's how they get you. Loving dad, loving husband. That's how they get you. Mine is this is like pertinent to pregnancy, and I only said it like a few times, but like after we'd had the first kid and she was pregnant with the second one, whenever she started talking to someone about pregnancy or anything like that, I'd just be like, I'd look at her and I'd be like, fucking hell, here we go. Like, how long are we going to be talking like this? So I'd like look at her belly, look at the person she was talking to and go, there's one I prepared earlier. Got to laugh like a quarter of the time. Good.
I'd say mine would just have to be lightning crutch.
The good old lightning crutch.
Lightning crush.
Oh,
I
you
can't
can
even
probably whip
imagine.
that out, you know.
I might try it
out
this
of
week.
context.
Maybe in the hypnobirthing class tomorrow. I'll whip it out.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, that's pretty much wrapping it up. So thanks for coming on, Crit. It's been fantastic.
Having me, boys. It's been good to have a chat to you.
Yeah. Well, it's time to wrap it up. But lastly, mate, I thought I'd put you on the spot with this one. What's something that you reckon is a topic that we should talk about in the future?
Maybe potentially the next part of the life is afterbirth.
Afterbirth.
How do you get through those
What do you do with the
first
afterbirth?
6 months? Those first 6 months, possibly.
Oh, after the actual birth.
Yeah,
No, I
afterbirth.
gotcha. Yeah, righto. Yeah, mate, what do you reckon, mate? You've enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been
Yeah?
fun. Yeah.
I thought it's been super, mate.
Hopefully anyone listening can get something out of it. And
Yeah.
we'll keep evolving and
Definitely.
getting some good shit dad stories.
100%. I reckon it's just perfect that we have an excuse now to have a couple of beers once a week at least, because I know for a fact that since having kids, you don't catch up with your mates as much as you want to. So this was like the perfect opportunity coming on. Oh, yes. Time to have a beer with the boys. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, keep on rolling, shit dads. You're doing all right. And don't forget it. And if you take anything out of this, just catch up with your mates, talk a bit of shit, have a couple of beers, and vent your frustrations, because there's nothing worse than letting it all build up. Have a great week, and don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a review so we can keep the shit dad train rolling. And feel free to send us in your shit dad moment of the week for a shout out on next week's show. Righto, take it easy, boys.
Bye.